Welcome, everyone, to a brand new episode of AV Unplugged. My name is Mark Metzger. I'm really excited to be joined today by our friend Brian McGuigan. He is a production manager with RS Media One, one of our neighbors here in Fairfax, Virginia, to our office. We thought we'd have him over, talk a little bit about his journey into the AV industry and learn a bit more. So, Brian, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely, yeah. We were talking just a little bit before we started here that I think you and I probably have maybe similar ways that we got into the AV industry. Tell us first a little bit about your background, because again, I think there are a lot of parallels between our stories.
Yeah, so I started out just having a camera when I was in high school, and through college I made some extra money taking pictures and making videos for people and making their social media videos and posts and stuff. And one day I worked for a production company and they hired me, and that was a few years ago, but that's pretty much how it started, and then kind of progressed from there.
Yeah. So starting on more of the content creation, video production side of things, which is where I also started. I've freelanced right out of college, and now you're in the deeply embedded in the AV industry. Actually, Brian also as a content creator shares content with our Avixa social media channels. You've probably seen some of the like the temporary LED walls that he builds and things shared with our social channels. So what ended up prompting that change then from you being a content creator to now, like I said, building LED walls, building broadcast systems and things? How did you make that change over the years?
Well, it came kind of just naturally through working in the industry. I started out working for an AV company, being their video tech and setting up cameras for them and bringing my own cameras a lot of the time and setting up their switchers and just kind of grew from there. And one thing that I always tell people if they ask me is work for a company that I think will encourage you to learn their new equipment.
Yeah.
And you kind of get paid to learn a little bit, and sometimes you got to put in some overtime to learn that extra equipment. But if you're interested in it, then it's fun, and that's kind of how I continue to build and progress to where I am now.
Yeah. Was there any part of the industry in particular? Was it digital displays or was it more camera systems? Like, what was it that made you want to go kind of deeper into the industry?
Well, initially it was cameras. I was into videography, and then actually the next thing I kind of got into a lot was I started doing lighting for the company I work for. We built out a few nightclubs actually, and we set up all the lighting in there, and we did it with we used just software-based systems and MIDI controllers, and built their lighting systems out, and then kind of just progressed from there. So anything visual is what kind of appealed to me. So I was always happy to learn about lighting and video and stuff like that.
Yeah. And RS Media One, now you all specialize in sort of temporary builds and things. What are some of the types of projects that you do with your company now?
Multi-day corporate conferences is the main thing we do, based in DC. So we do political events, and we do some music festivals and concerts too. Anything that needs, I like to say, you need an LED wall, I'm your guy. But yeah, the LED walls, lighting, audio, everything that kind of is, I guess, we're based in video, but we fill in the holes everywhere else too.
Yeah. Now, you also, in the middle of this, had a job working in finance, I believe you said, right? What was it that appealed to you about the AV industry versus, obviously we love finance and accountants and things. Getting paid is helpful, right? But what was it about the industry in particular that sort of drew you into it?
I mean, I just didn't like sitting at a desk and doing the same thing every day, going through spreadsheets. So I studied finance in college and worked in finance right out of college, but I had always had my freelance camera work, videography, I guess you call it, and photography on the side, and ended up, switching because I could make enough money doing what I liked more. Yeah. So,
and working with your hands, right, and being out and all that.
Yeah, just not coming through spreadsheets.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is something we hear because I always often think too, like there is a shortage in the different trades, right? So carpentry, electricians, plumbing, but also in the AV industry, like we have a shortage in terms of talented people who can do the work. What sort of encouragement would you maybe give to someone who might be considering a career in AV, maybe someone like yourself, or they just don't want to sit behind a desk? What was it? Maybe what kind of encouragement would you give to them to consider a job in the AV industry?
I would say it's probably easier than you think to learn what you need to know to be successful on a lot of jobs. Like to do to operate a camera on maybe not you're not going to be doing the Super Bowl or
Yeah.
professional sports, but to point a camera at someone and be able to put it together and operate it on a corporate event, you can learn that pretty quickly. And a lot of the systems that we use, you can pick up very quickly and just take the time to learn it, meet the people, and you may have to work for cheap in the beginning, but
Yeah.
if you gain the skills, then you're going to end up being worth more, and it's worth it. And it happens faster than you think.
Yeah. Yeah. I would think especially, and like I said, coming from a content creation background, I was a freelancer for a number of years. Once that word of mouth happens and you begin networking within the industry, it does open up a whole lot of more doors, I would imagine, even for you in just the Washington, D.C. area, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, there's plenty of work everywhere. Definitely in DC, there's a ton of work to go around. Everyone's looking for techs, so
Yeah.
it's still in high demand. I mean, I don't see that going anywhere. So
Right.
I think you're always going to have a job, and you're not going to get replaced by AI anytime soon. Yeah.
Until they build the robots that can, but that's
The
still,
cameras are close. But
that's true. One of the things, as you were talking about, how much access to information we have now, right? So as you were talking about needing to learn and improve your skills, I mean, obviously we have things like Avixa Education that we offer, but also, if I just need to look up real quick on this setting, there's probably a YouTube video on it or a quick tutorial or something, right? And so the amount of access, because I think I'm probably a little bit older than you. YouTube wasn't quite a thing when I was, just getting started. So, it used to be that you have to buy a manual or something like that, but just the access to information, I would imagine now, that probably played a big role in you being able to improve your skills pretty quickly, like you said.
100%. Yeah. So I wasn't big into lighting. I wasn't a Grand MA2 programmer or anything, and I wouldn't consider myself a expert Grand MA3 programmer, but I can do all of our most of our shows that we have.
Yeah.
Just because we got a Grand MA3, and I spent a week or the first couple weeks on YouTube watching videos, and anytime I had free time or in the warehouse, I would be on there programming, and you learn it quick. And nothing's as complicated as it looks.
Right. And I think our manufacturers, I think in the industry, a lot of them do a really great job with education as well. Like if you have a question about a specific model or something like that, there are typically resources there for you as well. You just really need to take the time to sit down to learn it and to look and to try to train yourself on it.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's courses on, just about everything. And I just did a Lumen course with one of our friends, Victor, in the area. Mm-hmm. But I still take courses all the time. That was an in-person course. And if you can't do in-person courses, there's online resources and, just constantly be learning the next thing.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely
how I've treated it.
Yep. Where do you see yourself wanting to go with it is there, more with audio that you want to do, or like you had mentioned LED walls, you're pretty good at assembling those now, but where do you kind of want to continue your professional growth, would you say?
I would like to, there's a couple different answers. I mean, continue to expand what we're doing and put on bigger and bigger shows. Getting into sports is one thing I've always wanted to do. I haven't really made the right inroads yet, but I'm sure that'll happen. And just producing bigger and bigger stuff, we're continuing to expand and buy more equipment, and we're one of the biggest, LED wall providers in the area now. And so just keep pushing, it's always the next event.
Right. How do those skills, would you say, translate? Because I would imagine some of the work that you're doing for, let's say, a big meeting up on the mall in Washington, D.C. or something, like I said, 2 to 3 day event, probably have a lot of similarities in terms of sports and broadcast and different things like that. Do you find that a lot of those skills translate no matter what the type of event is? Is it a lot of the same, or are there unique skills that you need to learn in order to be able to embed yourself within a certain market?
Well, of course, everything translates. You know how to operate a camera. You know how to operate a camera.
Yeah.
So it's the skill level is different.
Yeah.
To be able to track an
Right.
NHL game,
Right.
versus watching someone walk on the stage, but that's where you start. You start at tracking someone on stage, and then you get up to, if that's your goal, to be the best camera operator. That's where you can go. So it's all building blocks, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But in terms of how everything translates, I do think it's all the same, but different levels.
Yeah.
The quality aspect of how you kind of need everything to be perfect for these political events that I have been working it's kind of like you can't mess it up.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very similar, that kind of pressure is what translates the most when you're in that kind of professional environment.
Yeah. Are you on pins and needles when the event's happening? Like, oh, don't let the power go out, or are you pretty relaxed usually when it's showtime?
The start of a big event's always, you're nervous.
Yeah.
10 minutes in, you relax, but when the start is always very, very nerve-wracking.
Yeah. Yep. Any nightmares or horror stories that you can share in terms of maybe one where you had to battle through it to kind of come out and get the result that the client wanted at the end?
Luckily, nothing that's been too too bad, and I don't know if I'd share it here, but there have been times where the power's gone out, and you got to deal with it. Sometimes it's not always your fault, but you get the blame for it.
Yeah.
Like the venue's power goes out and nothing you can do about it, but you're AV, so you take the blame, and you just get it back up as quick as you can and kind of try to revive the situation.
Yeah.
I mean, that stuff happens on gigs. Live events is one of those things. Weather obviously is a big one.
Yep.
A huge storm comes through, takes out all your equipment,
right,
and you got to replace it or get everything back up running as quick as you can. I think anyone in the industry knows the deal on that.
Yeah. We do live streams from our shows like Infocom and at ISC, and there's something oddly thrilling about it. And like something could go wrong at any minute. But when you deliver, I think there's a real sense of reward at the end of it, right?
Yeah. And I think a big thing is the amount of effort that, from my experience, clients will see that if something that happens out of your control and you did everything you could to prevent it and get it back as soon as possible, then they won't take it out on you. They understand that weather happens, power outages happen, but you're on top of it. You chase it down as quick as you can and get things back up and going as quick as you can. They're going to respect you almost more for that.
Yeah. Would you say that's maybe the number one? Because one of the things we talk a lot about at Avixa is managing client expectations, right? And making sure that their expectations are aligned with what you can deliver. Any other kind of tips or advice that you might have in terms of managing those relationships and some of those expectations that your clients might have on a project?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's different from client to client.
Sure.
Some of the experienced, I guess, planners, and they'll expect nothing to go wrong, or I almost think they expect more for things out of your control to go wrong, but they expect you more to be prepared for them.
Sure.
So if there's a power outage, why didn't you have a generator? If the client kind of has the budget for every single backup you can have, put every single backup in place. Have the generator, have the backup power source, have the backup internet. if it's a situation where things can't go wrong,
Yeah.
just spare no expense really, and kind of make sure
Yeah.
nothing bad will happen.
Well, and to your point, like you said, just showing that you have those redundancies lined up, I think probably speaks volumes to make sure that, one, you're prepared, but also that the client can observe that and recognize that as well.
Correct. Yeah. Don't give them a chance to say, where's the backup?
Right. Yeah.
There has to be a backup for everything.
That's great advice. Yeah. So on your social media account, one of your more popular videos that you have is a video about building an LED wall, which, might not be the most exciting thing in the world to some people, but this one has amassed millions of views. Why do you think this one in particular really went viral and caught the attention of the AV community?
Well, I think it's something that everyone can understand. It's a pretty simple concept. You're just building an LED wall. And to people that aren't in the industry, I think an LED wall is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And seeing how it works is pretty cool. And I think in this one, a lot of my videos look pretty similar, but this one had a good cadence to it, and it was pretty straight to the point and focused on just the parts of building the wall.
Yeah.
And I think that's why that one did better than others. There's also kind of, I know you're used to do content, you have an ear for, making things flow nicely. And
right. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
so
it's always rewarding to see the finished product at the end when you go from starting with nothing. For a video like this, what's your process like for shooting, but then also having to obviously do the install, do that correctly, but making a video at the same time? What's that like?
Well, so the good thing about this video is it was a setup the day before, just a pretty standard LED wall for this is kind of a normal average LED wall setup. So I could really take my time to move the camera, put it in the position to get some of the close-up shots. You start with the wide, you go medium, then you go close, and then alternate between them, and have the sound effects in there. And I don't add any sound effects. It's all I just cut it as I see it. But I record the whole time that we're building. And so it is work. It's a lot of work, and editing it takes time.
I was going to say, so this is like a 60-second video, but how much raw footage did you have?
To build this wall probably took 3 hours, and I was filming for most of it.
Yeah.
From start to finish, maybe 2 hours. And you cut it down to 60 seconds. So, if you probably know, if you're not an experienced editor, then that can take a long time.
Right.
And it still takes me a long time.
Right.
It takes me a couple hours to make these. So it's work, but this one paid off.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. What other types of content are you hoping to maybe capture? Any other processes maybe that you have that you'd like to publish on your feed soon?
Yeah, everything. I mean, the behind the scenes stuff seems to be what people are interested in. So I plan on keeping on posting more of that, more explainer stuff. I need to get back on YouTube and make some longer videos. But for now, you start with the short stuff, start what you have time to do, and have the bandwidth to make happen. And that's where I'm starting. So I definitely plan to keep going and make as much content as I can.
Yeah. Well, this sort of thing is great too, because I think it, in some ways, maybe demystifies what the industry is, right? Because like you were saying, someone who wants to work with their hands, you take a look at a video like this and it's like, oh, actually, I could see myself doing something like that, right? So have you gotten any feedback in terms of what you're posting here of people being like, I want to do that? Or is it more of people who are in the industry, maybe interested in the types of technology you're using or anything like that?
I think I get at least 20 messages a day asking me for a job. I don't have any jobs to give out, but I wish I could hire you all. But no, I think this really shows every step of the process. So if you don't know how to build an LED wall, you watch this video, you get a good idea of how to do it. Yep. So I think people like that. People that are a little less experienced can just see that all the steps and them laid out short and quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and even talking about those resources that we talked about before now of, being able to introduce, even if it's a short 60-second clip, maybe, and then if you want to do a deeper dive into exactly how all the components fit together and things, you can do that. And you have the access to that information now, which is, probably wasn't true 15, 20 years ago too. So I think things like this is a great introduction to the industry. So it's very, very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way that Instagram and TikTok will promote your stuff, if you make a decent video,
Yeah.
it's cool, and you get a lot of people to reach out to you, and that's how I made the connection with you guys, and I've made a lot of connections through it, so it's very much worth it. I would say no matter where you're at, just post what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are going to reach out to you. People are going to talk to you.
And people can find you on all the social, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everything above, right?
Yep, BrianDoesAV on everything.
Yep, very cool. Awesome. Well, Brian, really appreciate you taking the time to stop by today. And we'll be seeing more of your videos here real soon.
Awesome. Thank you.